A statement issued at the end of the virtual panel discussion on Sunday the 19th of June, said that the process of diverting rivers for power generation projects has significantly increased the environmental issues in the region of Azad Kashmir. In a virtual panel discussion hosted by the Press for Peace Foundation UK, environmentalists and civil society representatives have said that the recommendations of the Environmental Protection Agency of the region have been ignored. The sewage treatment plant for Muzaffarabad, the Greater Water Supply Scheme, and solid waste management projects were not made. No trees were planted on the banks of rivers in Muzaffarabad, no water bodies were made, and garbage and hospital waste are being dumped in the river. The ecological balance of wild and aquatic life disappears, and fish from those areas to Muzaffarabad are endangered. The panelists demanded immediate action to protect the region's natural resources, aquatic and wildlife, and civil rights. They also emphasized the need for the construction of bridges and underpasses for wildlife, and the establishment of environmental magistrate courts, and environmental tribunals. Raja Mohammed Razak, a member of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, said that civil society should play a leading role in saving natural resources and the environment. The biggest reason for the growing environmental problems is the lack of political will, because political parties have no interest in environmental issues. The environment is not included in the construction and development sectors. Social activist Azad Kashmir said that the state's water sources and rivers had been toyed with in the name of hydropower projects. The Neelam Jillam hydro project has turned the Neelam River into a canal, and the temperature in Muzaffarabad has risen to dangerously high levels. They are also falling in the lower regions of the country, as a result of which the water level in Thar and some other areas of Sindh has gone down by 80 feet. He said that Environmental Protection Agency's recommendations on the environment had been ignored in the Neelam Jillam project. The previous government of Pakistan had directed to resurvey the river. The Azad Kashmir government has failed miserably in fulfilling its responsibilities in the Neelam Jillam project. Azad Kashmir cited several examples of government neglect and negligence regarding the Neelam Jillam project. He said that no sewage treatment plant and Greater Water Supply Scheme had been set up to protect the environment. He added that the solid waste management project in the capital city was not implemented. Trees have not been planted along the riverbank and water bodies have not been erected. He demanded that there should be an environmental magistrate and an environmental tribunal. The government should ensure the implementation of the forest, wildlife, and environmental laws. Civil society will raise its voice at every level to save the natural environment and local resources. Environmental expert Dr. Basiruddin Qureshi said that wild and aquatic life in Azad Kashmir was a great blessing for the local population. With the increase in human population, the burden on forests has increased and the incidence of collisions between humans and wild animals was increasing. Wildlife and aquatic life play an important role in the ecological balance. As a result of the Neelam Jillam project, local fish from Nosari to Muzaffarabad are running out. Forest fires are causing irreparable damage to wildlife along with the loss of forests. He warned that wildlife was being affected as a result of major hydropower and other developmental projects. Underpasses should be constructed to ensure free movement of wildlife on roads, and other construction projects and conservation of wild and aquatic life should be included in mega hydropower projects. Shah Ridwan, a civil society leader and president of Anjumani Sharin, said that in view of the growing number of tourists in Azad Kashmir, the government should clarify its policy on ecotourism and take necessary steps to save natural resources. He termed the sanitation situation in Muzaffarabad as deplorable and said that the waste of Ames Hospital and the whole city's waste was being dumped in the rivers. He feared that if water resources and rivers were not protected, citizens would be forced to relocate in the future. Urban planning expert Azad Kashmir termed the growing trend of awkward constructions in Azad Kashmir as unfriendly to the environment, and said that a master plan was urgently needed to bring Muzaffarabad and other major cities in line with modern requirements. A Japanese organization Jareka had predicted another quake in Muzaffarabad due to a fault line, and recommended that the population be moved away from the fault line. But the governments had been negligent. Environmental scholar Fahad Ali Kazemi said that such trees planted in Azad Kashmir contradicted the local environment. This trend has a negative impact on the environment. Large development projects are affecting water resources and forests. He said that people should use vehicles that emit less carbon. We are using old vehicles which are unfit and unsuitable for the environment. People should be serious about their environment. This will require climate change to be an important part of the conversation on social media and in private.